You need 7 hobbies in your life. This is a philosophy not coined by any person in particular, but there are similar concepts in the Japanese philosophy of purpose called ikigai, which is basically the reason why you wake up in the morning. Anyway, here they are. You need a hobby to make you money. If that's already your full-time job, congrats. But if not, there are lots of side hustles you can do. If you love kids or animals, babysit, pet sit. Right, Zoe? You could also work at a zoo or aquarium, a museum. There are endless hobbies that you could honestly turn into money makers. People are selling all kinds of DIY projects. My mom used to make her own hand creams. When she was a nurse, she was constantly washing her hands and they would get all dry and cracked up. And she made a cream that helped her skin. That's a need, that's a passion, and that's a business right there. Second, you need a hobby to keep you in shape. This is super important because this is self-care for your body. Count your blessings if you're able to move any part of your body. We only have one in this life. And let's see, off the top of my head, there's climbing, martial arts, different yoga practices, different dance styles, swimming, soccer, ultimate frisbee, basically anything you see broadcasted as an Olympic sport. I heard a quote once that your body is capable of more than you know, and a lot of setbacks are actually just mental, which is what makes the next few hobbies important. Third, you need a hobby to be creative. This hobby is so vital for you to stay in touch with your soul and just really getting to know yourself in general. I actually rarely see people outside of artists or people who identify as creatives utilizing their creativity, which is sad because we all have it in us. We were essentially created to create. If you look all around you, you're probably looking at something someone invented. An invention doesn't stop just because we're living in a modern era now. If you have an idea, try nurturing it instead of waving it away as nonsense. There's this quote from Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland that I really love. Alice thinks of at least, I think it's 10 impossible things before breakfast. It's a really good exercise. There are many things that exist right now that people for sure thought were impossible. For example, people try to tell me to follow recipes, but I find being creative in the kitchen to be so much fun. Being in touch with your creative side involves a lot of experimentation. Buy general Legos. Is that a thing? Buy like Legos without instructions, like the ones that you buy for your kids so they can build anything. Try building your dream house with it. Doing creative things with your own 2 hands might just free up some space in your mind. It also just might change you into a more secure and confident individual. When you get in touch with your unique side, you realize things about you that you like, and nothing and no one can compare to the fun, unique, quirky sides of you. Fourth is a hobby to build knowledge. Examples include reading or listening to audiobooks or podcasts, and a lot of you probably already do this, watching YouTube videos. It's the information age. We are all downloading a lot of information into our consciousness. But if it's overwhelming, I would consider escaping into a fiction book. It's a lot slower, world building, and it's not as anxiety inducing as listening or watching the news. Fifth is a hobby to evolve the mind, aka the problem-solving part of your brain and sharpening specific skills. So this is different from the 4th hobby where you're just consuming and gaining knowledge. So an example is you can know a little bit of Italian history, but can you speak the language? Non parlo italiano bene. Other ways to engage in this hobby aren't just learning languages, but also playing games. Video games or anything that sharpens your hand-eye coordination, which is a skill I lack. But also on a grander level, you can get involved with organizations around you, things that you care about that require critical thinking and problem solving in your community. And this is good for those who love leadership. People need leadership, good leadership. For many of you, you might already be sharpening some of these skills in your jobs. But if you don't feel challenged in your career, then I highly recommend learning something new and making it a higher priority, because it can help on those days when you feel low self-esteem, feeling a lack of purpose. Sixth is a hobby to socialize. Don't run away, my introverts out there. I'm personally evolving into an introvert. But any of the previous categories we just discussed, you can meet with people and engage in those activities. I think the best type of hobby to combine socializing with is a hobby to keep you fit, because then you can find a friend to keep you accountable, like running clubs. When you feel lazy and you don't feel like getting up, but you told your friend you were gonna meet her at the 5 p.m. run club in downtown, that's accountability. Another way to socialize in this hobby is by volunteering and giving back. Also, I find when volunteering, you meet people who can be genuinely empathetic and selfless and kind. Homeless shelters, soup kitchens, helping to build or restore houses, volunteer firefighting, volunteering at hospitals, animal shelters, zoos, museums, parks, gardens. The possibilities are endless. Number 7, you need a hobby to help you relax. Now, there are different ways to rest that don't just involve sleep. Your soul needs rest in ways your body can't even comprehend. For this hobby, it's best to take a good look at yourself and think about areas in your life where you feel restless. Oopsies, I didn't realize my phone had died while I was filming, but I got through most of it, luckily. I wanted to end by saying that just because I listed 7 types of hobbies doesn't mean that you need 7 hobbies. I'm sure you could find 2 to 3 of these that cover multiple categories, and if you work on them a little bit every day, then your life will definitely change. After a long week, I decided to take you through how I relax for a slow day here in Tokyo. I decided to go to Ueno Park with Ephraim, which is so relaxing because there are temples and just some nature that you can admire, beautiful flowers that bloom in winter. We went to the National Museum of Nature and Science. I find museums to be one of my favorite ways that I relax in cities, to just wander around and observe nature in the comfort of a warm building, especially in winter time, and just learn and read things with calm and slowness and admire every part of the infrastructure and take in some information and just distract myself from what's going on in life. There was a seashell exhibit. It's so cool to see these things that I wouldn't have otherwise seen in the beaches I go to back home. It's fun to feel like a kid and just be in awe of all the wonders in life. Ephraim and I stumbled upon this bookstore cafe, which was so cozy. There were so many people just chilling, and coffee shops are just a nice way to breathe, relax, read. And I don't know about you, but there's something comforting about the smell of coffee and the sound of the machine that's just foaming milk and brewing espresso. Then, after walking around a bit more, we headed to the center of the city, and I wanted to take Ephraim to this place called Ichiran, which I've heard people nickname it antisocial ramen because they serve it to you in these booths and you don't even have to make eye contact or talk. So finishing it off with ramen just hit the spot. Anyway, happy relaxing. Don't forget to take a breath because it's a good time to be alive and just admire all the good things around you. You need 7 hobbies. Okay, careful. Zoe, that's Ephraim's book. Just sit. Brava. Okay, just sit there. You need 7 hobbies in your life. This hobby is so having an allergic reaction to Zoe.